News is finally next on Best Galaxy Australian Breaking News, Sunday, May 12th, 2024.
Hello everyone, welcome to Best Galaxy Australian Breaking News Season 3 in 2024. My name is First Galaxy Australian, formerly known as Best Galaxy Australia 2. News 1, Switzerland has won the 68th Eurovision Song Contest, bringing to an end a fraught and at times tumultuous competition overshadowed by a row over Israel's inclusion and the disqualification of the Dutch contestant just hours before the start of the grand final. Swiss singer Nemo, who defines as non-binary, had entered the night as the bookmakers' third favourite, but saw off frontrunners Croatia and Israel with an enthusiastic performance of their song The Code. The operatic, drum and bass-propelled offering was the runaway winner in the jury vote, which makes up half of the overall score. The musical performances risk becoming a footnote at the world's largest live music event, after Dutch contestant Joost Klein was disqualified from the grand final over what the organisers described as an incident involving a female member of the production crew. News 2, more than 100,000 Palestinians fled Rafah, Gaza's southernmost city, on Saturday, after Israeli warnings to evacuate before an imminent military assault that will open a bloody new phase of the 7-month-long conflict. Roads leading out of Rafah were choked with long columns of young and old, sick and healthy, riding in overloaded pickup trucks and battered cars, in pony carts and on hand-pulled trolleys. Many walked, carrying their belongings, under a searing summer sun. Some were pushed in wheelchairs or even carried. More people each day have fled Rafah since the Israel Defense Forces ordered the evacuation of eastern neighborhoods shortly before seizing the border crossing with Egypt to the east of the city on Tuesday in what the IDF said was a precise, limited operation to stop Hamas smuggling weapons or funds into Gaza.
News 3. The first recipient of a genetically modified pig kidney transplant has died about 2 months later, with the hospital that performed the surgery saying it did not have any indication the transplant was the cause. Richard "Rick" Slayman had the transplant at Massachusetts General Hospital in March at the age of 62. Surgeons said they believed the pig kidney would last for at least 2 years. On Saturday, his family and the hospital that performed the surgery confirmed Slayman's death. The transplant team at the Massachusetts hospital said in a statement it was deeply saddened and offered condolences to his family. Slayman was the first living person to have the procedure. Previously, pig kidneys had been temporarily transplanted into brain-dead recipients as an experiment. 2 men received heart transplants from pigs, although both died after several months. News 4. Everybody is complaining it's not good. Don't book Air Vanuatu. Those were the words of a taxi driver in March as he pulled away from Vanuatu's Bowerfield International Airport and headed into the heart of Port Vila, the oceanside capital of the Pacific island country. 2 months later, and the frequent cancellations and delays that had become synonymous with the national carrier over the past year have given way to a government announcement that Air Vanuatu is in voluntary liquidation. In a country where 48% of gross domestic product is derived from tourism, business owners fear tourism will bear the brunt of the airline's grounding. The livelihoods of thousands of Vanuatu and their dependents employed in Vanuatu hotels and resorts are now at risk. The Vanuatu Hotels and Resorts Association, VHRA, said in a statement, "Massive damage has been done to Vanuatu's reputation in overseas tourism markets. Potential tourists are going elsewhere, and wholesalers are selling to other, less troubled destinations." Okay guys, it's time to commercial break. We'll be right back. We are back, guys. Let's continue to News 5. News 5. More than 300 people were killed in flash floods that ripped through multiple provinces in Afghanistan. The UN's World Food Programme said, as authorities declared a state of emergency and rushed to rescue the injured. Many people remained missing after heavy rains on Friday sent roaring rivers of water and mud crashing through villages and across agricultural land in several provinces, causing what one aid group described as a major humanitarian emergency. Survivors picked through muddy, debris-littered streets and damaged buildings on Saturday as authorities and non-governmental groups deployed rescue workers and aid, warning that some areas had been cut off by the flooding. News 6. More than 300 people were killed in flash floods that ripped through multiple provinces in Afghanistan. The UN's World Food Programme said, as authorities declared a state of emergency and rushed to rescue the injured. Many people remained missing after heavy rains on Friday sent roaring rivers of water and mud crashing through villages and across agricultural land in several provinces, causing what one aid group described as a major humanitarian emergency. Survivors picked through muddy, debris-littered streets and damaged buildings on Saturday as authorities and non-governmental groups deployed rescue workers and aid, warning that some areas had been cut off by the flooding.
خدایا رحم کن خدایا فضل کن یا الله خدایا
News 7. Too good, too strong, and the inevitable draws ever closer. Their fans were not really here chant may be soaked in deepest Manc irony, but it also reflects the economic miracle of Manchester City being the best team in England by far. After victory at Fulham, the unknown is about to be breached. For league titles in a row is a level the greatest teams in English history, Huddersfield in the 1920s, Arsenal in the 1930s, Liverpool in the 1980s, and two Alex Ferguson-era Manchester United teams, could not attain. Success earns respect if not necessarily affection. Each of those predecessors found a way to win that did not achieve universal admiration. Within living memory, Liverpool were derided for overuse of the back pass to the point of tedium. United were loathed for being the personification of Ferguson's cheerlessness. The Manchester City of 2024 are, beyond the ongoing legal issues that overshadow their glory, dismissed as too surgical, almost too perfect. News 8. Lauren Price claimed the WBA, IBO, and Ring Magazine welterweight world titles with a comprehensive victory over Jessica McCaskill in Cardiff. The fight was called off 2 seconds into the 9th round, with McCaskill unable to continue because of a swollen eye. Because of a head clash, the decision went to the judges' scorecards and Price was a clear winner on all three following a boxing masterclass from the Welsh fighter. I believe this is just the start, Price said after her victory. I want to come back here and create a legacy. She came at me from round 1 and it took me a while to get my distance, but I enjoyed myself and I'm only going to get better. I want to fight at the Principality Stadium. That's the dream. News 9. Madeline Sagstrom and Rose Zhang left Nelly Korda and everyone else way behind Saturday in the Cognizant Founders Cup. Trying to win a record 6th straight LPGA Tour event, Korda was 11 shots behind Sagstrom and 10 back of two-time NCAA champion Zhang, with a round left at Upper Montclair Country Club. After months of near-perfect play, Korda inexplicably hit bad drives, found bunkers from the fairway and missed short putts. She shot a 1/73. Sagstrom, who has played well on this course the last 3 years, had a 66 to get to 19 under 197. Zhang, who won in her professional debut in New Jersey State a year ago, had a 67 after lipping out on it. Okay guys, it's time to commercial break. We'll be right back. If after commercial break we will continue for Australian news. We are back, guys. Let's continue with Australian news. News 10 with Australian News 1. Australians should have a second chance to see the aurora australis on Sunday night. Experts say, after a Saturday Southern Lights display so spectacular it left at least one astronomer in tears. Social media users posted pictures of brightly colored skies in Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia, and around the world. Much of New South Wales missed out on the spectacle due to heavy cloud and rain. It was absolutely spectacular last night, he said. An oh wow moment. I was looking at reactions of astronomers in the world, and there was one, well known in the field, who was brought to tears by it. Brown watched the display from his home in Melbourne, then drove more than an hour to Cape Schanck on the Mornington Peninsula for a better view. He said hundreds of other stargazers were there, many grabbing great photos on their smartphones. The Bureau of Meteorology has warned that the storm that creates the beautiful auroras could threaten infrastructure and essential services, including power supply. The geomagnetic storm that created the amazing light show was the strongest in more than 20 years, the BOM said. The BOM Space Weather Forecasting Center manager, Kate Brand, said it was unusual for displays to be seen as far north as Mackay in Queensland. There is a chance of seeing auroras, perhaps not as far north as last night, but we are expecting that they may be visible in the southern parts of Australia, she said. Brown agreed, saying he expected another display on Sunday night, as well as the chance for a repeat on Monday. There's a very good chance that there'll be a good aurora, probably not as spectacular as last night, he said. But auroras can be really fickle. Sometimes they can disappoint and sometimes they can surprise you in a really good way, as they did last night. He recommended that people look outside if they were somewhere without much cloud cover or light pollution. At worst, you don't see anything, and at best you might see an amazing experience that you'll remember for the rest of your life, he said. News 11 with Australian News 2. A small community in the New South Wales Central West has marked Mother's Day with a walk in memory of Molly Ticehurst, who was allegedly killed by a former partner last month. Pushing prams and flanked by puppies, families followed the path around Lake Forbes on Sunday. About 400 people gathered, many wearing bright t-shirts with the slogans #HerNameIsMolly and #SpeakUp. They included close friends and family of the 28-year-old. Daniel Billings is charged with the domestic violence murder of Ticehurst, whose body was found in a home at Forbes in the early hours of Monday, April 22nd. Billings will appear at Park's local court on June 20th. One walker, Leah Smith, said the event was a time to stop and take care of the important things. It's about raising awareness for next week's women. There are so many killed every week. It's important we start thinking about things. Okay, that's all the news. I will see you next week.